Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon to wherever you are in the world. Welcome. It's season 14 of the ARA Porsche Cup Championship. We're here for round number 2 at the brand new Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, a circuit built by Herman Tilke, and that goes around a sports complex. It has been brung to iRacing, and our drivers are already getting into the rhythm of this beautiful 2.63 mile circuit. Alongside me, Tristan Herbst and Jim Cunningham in production. It's going to be a superb night of racing. How are you, gentlemen?
Yeah, absolutely incredible. And I mean, yeah, like you mentioned, this is a track that we've seen pretty much globally. You know, you've seen it in the F1 scene of things. You've seen it in the World Endurance Champs. You've seen it practically everywhere. And now gracing us here in the likes of Apex Racing TV on the iRacing platform at last. And we get to see a couple of the Porsche Cups going around here. A little bit of the smaller, nimble Porsche Cup cars on quite a big track. It's definitely going to be an interesting race to see how these cars can manage a track like this. It's got a huge reputation to its name, and so definitely keen to see what these drivers can do in round number 2.
That a big reputation. I think you really hit the nail on the head with that one, because this series, this track, I should say, has hosted some big championships such as Formula One. It's hosted the World Endurance Championship in its one-off. It's also hosted the up and coming, well, it's kind of already a big series, Formula E. That's really had some fantastic races around here, with NASCAR also going to this race circuit. Shane Van Gisbergen winning that one, so he is very much famed around this circuit already and stamped his authority, and potentially a race in IndyCar. We've had a few rustles about that in the media recently, but tonight we focus on the virtual world, and you're seeing here the first views of the fantastic Foro Sol Stadium section, which is going to home a big amount of fans into that old baseball stadium. You'll see those cars heading through their big old Boxer inline 6 engines, and we now see some of our pros going over the line to start their qualifying. You see there, it is Tristan Engelstadt who is going to be on top here for our amateurs. the Quad Dash Racing team. He's ahead of Alex Russell. But what about our pros? Well, we're seeing debutant Frank Porte Ruiz from Andorra already putting in a fantastic time here so far, 145.280. But what are going to be some of the biggest things around this circuit? Well, one thing is going to be the altitude. It is one of the highest circuits in the world, I should assume. You know, that's going to be such a challenge. But Tristan, what are going to be the biggest challenges around this circuit, do you think?
I think definitely it's going to come down to physical track management. And like we mentioned, it is also a new track to the iRacing platform, which means we don't have a lot of historical data here for the drivers to base this race tonight on. There's not a lot of practice that's been had compared to the tracks that have been on this platform since the start of it. And so that's definitely going to be the crown factor here tonight, especially for somebody who didn't decide to put in a little bit of practice beforehand. This track, although seeming quite big and relatively easy with its wide and very not narrow straights, it's one of the tracks that are quite complicated, and we've seen it in the bigger series like we've mentioned already. WEC, Formula E also introduced, and Formula 1, that it can provide a heap load of action. And so now bringing on a slightly smaller type of car, the Tin Top GT Racing here from the P Cup, and definitely going to be an interesting one to see. The car, very different car compared to what you normally see, and very unique characteristics as well. Obviously already round 2, so we've seen them out on track already for an entire race whatsoever. But now it is coming through to our qualifying session over here. About 7 minutes left of qualifying. The pros are starting to make their presence known over the AMs over there, because we've got Jafrau in P1 currently for the pros with a 144.6. Porte Ruiz, the debut though, still sitting second for the pros, and incredible job from him to keep that going. And the likes of Tristan Engelstad in the AMs still also doing an incredible job on his side with a 144.8. So those times will also continue to evolve as the qualifying session goes on.
Here is Paul Dufro as well. He's trying to attack the lap as he heads now around the final corner, and the 129 will head on towards the line as he crosses over the timing beam. Where is he going to put that car? It is not faster. It's a 145.4 from our double winner last time out in Okayama. Now, you may be wondering, what has Dufro done over the last week? Have you been practicing around Mexico, do you assume? No, he's been over in Oschersleben competing in the Euro NASCAR Championship, had a third and a second in his 2 races. So meanwhile, while this guy is also doing sim racing, he's also been out there doing some real life racing in a big championship such as the Euro NASCAR Championship, and currently sitting second in the pro standings in that championship. So amazing stuff to have such an incredible prolific real-life racer. I've also want to congratulate Paul Dufro on I think the 2023 season when he won the Euro NASCAR 2 championship. So Paul, if you're watching later on and capturing this early part of qualifying, I just want to say congratulations to all your achievements. It's been fantastic to watch you race a Brands Hatch over the course of the last couple of years, and you're doing a super job at the Pro Championship as well. Oh, we've just had a car in the wall there. That is not ideal whatsoever. That's Laurononis from Lithuania, as Paul Dufro goes and puts in another purple sector.
Yeah, he is seriously ramping up here in this qualifying session. But like you mentioned, with the real-life track experience and being, a competitor in higher pro series, this is just a sideline gig over here for him in the ARA Porsche Cup. And, just trying to prove his worth over here as well. And currently doing a great job at it with P1. Obviously, he's got the likes of Kim Andre Bjorklund behind him in second position. He's closing in, but it's still a 5-tenth gap between P1 and P2 right now in the Pro Division. So an incredible amount of pace being generated there by Jafrau. And he holds off in first position right now. Still going to be holding that as we have about 4 minutes left of this qualifying session. Going through the rest of the track, though, through the inaugural chicane, where we see loads of incidents happen in loads of other series where people start to get a little bit dicey with their contact and pushing for aggressiveness. And so we might be able to see that today in the Porsche Cup. Slightly smaller grid than what you would see in general GT3 racing. 28 car grid, sorry. So hopefully some good racing that's going to come our way today. But everybody else still forming out on grid. It looks like Tony Despotakis has pushed himself up to second position now, breaking up just 2/10 ahead of Bjorklund in third. And so now wrapping up that podium position for him. It's provisional podium start for him in the second row. And he's going to be wanting to try and hold that in the peak up. But with a couple minutes left, it's all going to come down to what the drivers can do with their final couple of qualifying laps here. The track will also begin to evolve slightly. The car will start to feel better. But it all comes down to that driver consistency.
Will be, and you really need to be putting in those good laps in the last couple of moments. How the Sequeira for the ACA esports team, he's put himself up into P4. We now watch Davidas Laurenonis in the last couple of moments of this qualifying session. We'll head over the timing line. Can he go and improve? Doesn't look like it. He'll stay in P11, but again, he has a couple more minutes before he can then see the checker flag and end his lap. Paul Dufro, I think, has just done a time just shy of his fastest lap. But look at that, Tony Despotakis is going purple in that middle sector. It's the battle for pole on here between the Greek and the Frenchman. And we now see round the final corner that 113 of the Greekman of Despotakis. He'll close out the line, do the short distance run, and he will go over, and it's 0.06 of a second off. I think that's his time as well. So that was a pretty close run on that one. Wow.
Yeah, incredible pace being shown there from Despotakis. So both P1 and second from Jafra to Despotakis, now 5/10 ahead of the rest of the grid, which is some incredible pace considering that every single car here is of equal performance. Almost similar to your Formula 2 and Formula 3 style racing. So incredible stuff there for them to push themselves neatly up into the top, though, as we are still on board with a couple of drivers who have a little bit more juice left in the tank. James Parker, a little bit further down in 21st, is trying to make up a little bit of time. Currently just above the 46s. He's going to want to try and break down into the 45s now as he comes to the end of this lap. Let's see if he can break it. And unfortunately, it does. Oh, not unfortunately. It does look like he can do it with an incredible leap as well. A good 0.6 of an improvement there for Parker, up into 10th. And that's going to be holding it off there for the top 10 for the time being. We've got about 45 seconds left of this qualifying session. Still a couple of drivers out. Christian Carlson is also about to come and finish off his lap. But we still have on board James Parker. Christian Carlson comes across. He does improve up to 11th position for himself. On board there with Davidas Laurenonis. Down in 14th, he just came across. Onto one more lap for him now, with about 25 seconds remaining here of this qualifying session. It's now or never for him to try and breach into that top 10.
Indeed, you're looking to try and just put yourself into a really strong position. I do wonder if you want to be starting on that second row, because yeah, it may not be single seaters, but is there going to be an advantage starting on that second row of the grid, with that being Kim Andre Bjorklund and Engelstad at the checkered flag will now fly here, and the session is over. It will be Paul Dufro on pole position. Tony Despotakis alongside him, but that second row could be oh so crucial. The drivers will now head into, it looks like, a first race here. So we'll have to see how that all kind of pans out once we get the grid loaded. And here it is. Paul Dufro will start on pole position ahead of Tony Despotakis, with Kim Andre Bjorklund for Sim Racing Norway alongside Tristan Engelstad. Frank Porte Ruiz, the privateer, will be starting on that third row of the grid alongside Alex Rossell and Gordon Haug and Pascal Veal starting on that fourth row. Now onto the fifth row, it will be held at Sequeira and James Parker, who will be alongside Christian Carlson and Philip Pignac, Sim Racing Norway alongside Black Hole. Onto the next row, row 7 will be Kevin Chevalier of the Unity Racing team. He'll be alongside Davidas Laurenonis, and then it will be Dominic Beck alongside Ryan Stringer, the German, alongside the Brit. Ruben Iglesias for the ACA esports team. He'll be alongside Joey Island, who made up a good amount of positions last time out at Okayama in race 2, with Alec Kassir in 19th ahead of Ruben Sequert Cueto, sorry, apologies on that one. Javier Bullina, the American for Prism Motorsport. He'll be alongside Lenny Kiefer from Luxembourg. Then we see Thomas Verm and Max Nevin Shea on the 12th row of the grid. And then looking through the last two rows, Steve Clive, the Belgian, will be starting in 25th, followed by Dylan Ham with Danny Huntley and Dylan Ast, the privateer, starting on that 14th row of the grid. And that rounds out our 28 cars. Racing is commencing now, and here we go off the line down towards turn number 1 here at Mexico City for the first time, and it's a decent start there from the Frenchman, but ducking into the slipstream will be Tony Despotakis as they run their way down towards turn number 1. Who's going to find the advantage? Who's going to find the gap to fill towards the first corner in towards chicane? We're going to try and make it through cleanly. 3 wide at the back there. No wide moments it looks like, but they squiggle their way through the first 3 corners and snake their way through. Looks all clean so far. A couple of jostling for positions for the moment, but in towards turn number 3 and 4, side by side there, Frank Porte Ruiz will be alongside Gordon Haug. I think that is the Norwegian, who's hoping to get a decent start there. Contact as somebody to be spun around with the all blue cars. That is, I think that might be one of the privateers. I'll see who that might be compared to our live stream, but we'll see later. But we think that could be Philip Pignac. A little adjusting throughout that live timing screen, but we'll get back to you on that moment in time. But decent start from our front 2.
Yeah, great start there from Jufrau and Despotakis to pull away now 8/10 already from Bjorklund in 3rd. We had a little bit of contact there. I saw the likes of Dominic Beck falling away, as well as Philip Pinac in 12th position. And we've got a very mixed grid as it stands right now between the pros and the pro-ams. A little bit of bumper to bumper there that looks like the likes of Gordon Haug going against Pascal Veal as they fight their way through the stadium now, trying to hold on as much as he can. Haug holds it off though from the train behind him. A couple of the cars though mounting over the curbs. The Porsche Cup finding it slightly difficult to get over the curbs here around Mexico City's Grand Prix and trying to find as much grip as possible. Jafrau though is under pressure because here comes Despotakis on the inside line into turn number 1. The green Porsche Cup now looking to try and make an overtake. Behind is the same situation though for Bjorklund and Porte Ruiz, and it's now almost coming down to a 4-wide situation where the 2 behind are just gently tucking in. And as you can see, the pressure is on. It's almost door-to-door scraping through the chicanes over here. Despotakis gets the inside line, but it's a switch around now for Jafrau as he once again trying to get back up onto that front row of this race. Porte Ruiz has made the jump though on Bjorklund for 3rd position and closing off that podium seat. Now, as you can see in the background, Jafrau trying to get once again past Despotakis, and there's lots and lots of bumper-to-bumper tapping. Oh, almost a little bit of grip loss there from Despotakis as he is really getting punted around now by Jafrau.
Indeed he is. Paul Jufro allowing his Euro NASCArisms to come into this. A very aggressive switch there to the inside, in towards turn number 4. It was a very, very ambitious move, but he's left himself wide open to Frank Porte Ruiz, who's on for a podium place in his debut race around a brand new circuit. How incredible would that be for the Andorran driver? But trying to stop him will be Kim Andre Bjorklund for Sim Racing Norway. Look at that. Gordon Howe will be looking on the back there. They head their way now in toward the forest. So there's a collision, and that's going to be Bjorklund and Haug, I think. I think the 2 Sim Racing Norway drivers has come together. Oh, that's going to be so unfortunate there. Bjorklund, where is Haug? We'll have a look at the replay on this one. It's a little bit in slow motion here, but you see the blue car. That is Porte Ruiz. In toward the next one. Is it Haug? He looked down the inside. Oh, he just feels the pressure. Oh, the car behind him went to go for a dummy, and by that means the 2 Sim Racing Norway drivers go to collide. It's Haug into Bjorklund, and there'll be a massive commotion among the Sim Racing Norway team as here comes Despotakis and Paul Jufro. To the inside goes Frank Porte Ruiz. Ruiz has to back off on that one, otherwise he would have gone clean into the side of the Frenchman. On off turn 3 they go. Turn 4 is going to be the next crucial spot.
Haug receiving a yellow flag over there, needing to slow down after ramping over a track limit. And so it seems to be all over now for the Norwegian team. Carlson, Haug a little bit further behind. And then obviously Bjorklund, after having that rear contact has now lost out his drive completely, down to 9th in the Pro Division fight over here, which is super unfortunate for himself. Porte Ruiz, though, is trying to hold on to the backside of Jufrau, but Veal is behind him as well. Sequeira is now fighting onto the backside of Bjorklund. Stringer is also into that fight, and the mixing of the packs is definitely happening over here. The AMs and the pros are practically unidentifiable at this point. All that's giving us the clarity here is our live timings board on the left side, as well as the weir, the wing, the mirror, and the sunstrip colorings that we see here on our pro drivers in the green. And that is literally all the differentiation we have here. It's identical vehicles racing around, some of them even posing identical skill levels, as we see loads of mixing going on. The likes of Joey Island just trying to hold on to the back there of Ruben Iglesias, coming through the stadium section though on the backside, and you can see the aggression is starting to show now, organized into our division category over here. Island is so close onto the backside there of Iglesias. Stringer is a little bit further in front, and Pignac is also onto the rear side of this fight. And this is the battle for 6 as it's escalating. There's a long train in front of them, and that's what they're aiming for at the moment, catching up to that battle for first just in front of them, with the likes of Tristan Engelstad leading that. And that is the job right now. Joey Island is trying to just keep as much as he can. He looks to the inside line though. We switched off from him, but it might be a dive from him. Tristan Engelstad though is also under pressure from the likes of Alex Rosal.
It is. We'll have a look now at Engelstad. We look back here to Bjorklund for Sim Racing Norway. We just see side by side. Oh, there's a bit of contact between two cars. I think that's Lenny Kiefer involved in this one. And this seems to be a big old switcheroo of places. Gordon Haug is looking to put himself up a little bit higher in the places here. But with Lenny Kiefer just sitting in front of him, of course, Lenny Kiefer, I believe, let me just double check my stats. Yes, two-time winner of the AMS last time around, where we had 2 races here at last time out at Okayama. I thought there was a car spinning around there as I look back to my feed screen, so my eyes were very much deceiving me in that one. But yeah, it's going to be a 25-minute race to get us kicked off here, and then we'll reverse the top 10 and then go into a 30-minute race there. I think a change of potentially of positions in that one between Himondre Bjorklund and Gordon Haug. I think that's something that needed to be made there, because of course the pro driver of Bjorklund would be a little bit frustrated. He'll be a little bit faster as well, but I'm sure there'll be a bit of a horrible debrief between the two. Meanwhile, here comes Paul Dufro. He is now looking to go on the attack here. Despotakis right to the inside, goes defensive, and here comes the black and yellow car of Paul Dufro, hanging it around the outside. Can he get through in towards turn number 1? He's going to stay side by side. He almost just has to cut off turn number 2. They stay side by side, and look at Frank Porte Ruiz. He's loving this. He's going to try and fit himself through the middle potentially, as Paul Dufro continues on. He's almost getting pushed there by Frank Porte Ruiz, and in towards the turn 4 and 5 chicane, hanging it around the outside. What a defense by Tony Despotakis. He's hanging on in there, and Ruiz is staring at this like, I want to have a go, but I'm just being blocked at all angles. And they're still side by side, and Dufro is just going to have to go up the ghost on this one.
Yeah, it looks like Jufro is holding off on the back of Despotakis there in the top 3, continuously switching around with each other through the following corners. And this is how the fighting is going to go. Porte Ruiz is not letting this one go whatsoever. Veal has also joined in on the fight, as well as Lauren just a little bit further down in 5th. And so the fight for first is escalating deeply though, because there is loads and loads of time to gain over here. Veal is 6 tenths behind Porte Ruiz. Porte is 4 tenths behind Jufrau, and Jufrau 3 tenths behind Despotakis. So loads and loads of opportunities here for these drivers to make a couple of switch arounds. You can see the train there coming from the camera shots. It's a long train here, and the battle for first is definitely transcending here. 5 laps in, 9 minutes of racing in. We've still got a lot of time on the board for the drivers to make a couple of switch arounds, and the likes of Pascal Veal will try and make up as much as he can here, just on the backside of Porte Ruiz. And further on behind though, back to the AM leader over here, Tristan Engelstad. He's also gaining onto the rear side now. He's in the fight currently for P1 of the Pro Championship, and so in a really good overall fight for himself right now. Paul Jufrau though is going side by side with Despotakis, who now switches it around for the following, and it looks like Porte Ruiz climbs onto the curb, and he's got the inside line coming out of that corner. Much better run from the back straight angle over here. You can see that's all coming down to the slipstream, because the likes of Despotakis also joining in, and Veal just behind. All these drivers trying to accumulate the points that they need over here. Laurenonis has joined in on this fight as well, and that's Engelstad, the AM leader, just behind there in the pink and silver P-Cup. He's now well into the fight over here, and everybody shoving each other around on track over here. It's 3 wide going into the next corner. Who's going to pull out? Porte Ruiz pulls out to not cause any more contact. Jufrau gets the advantage there. My goodness, Adam, the contact and the racing between the top 5 is incredible.
Oh, I think that was a moment there from Paul Jufro. I was going to kind of put this in relax mode after quite a hectic first half a lap. But then Paul Jufro had to twitch the wheel. Look at the drivers still just trying to find any form of space. I'd love to see the overall standing just to see who's in this battle, because this was a battle for maybe first, second and third. And now this has become maybe a top 6 battle. It's Jufro from Porte Ruiz, from Despotakis, then Pascal Veal, and then Tristan Engelsack. And I think also Alex Russell is also trying to get involved with this one. But you're just seeing that on the left-hand side, the numbers are all based on kind of the classes. So you've got the pros in the green and the amateurs in the white. There you go. It's reverted back. So thank you, Jim, in production for doing that for us. That looks a little bit better and more understanding for our viewers as well. In towards chicane once again, and Tony Despotakis I think will be feeling a little bit hard done by the amount of pushing that happened this time around a lap ago. I think he's going to try and maybe calm it down here, but remember, you've got a reversed grid top 10 here, so it will be Kim Andre Bjorkland for Sim Racing Norway who will be on that pole position so far, but he's going to try and get more points, so it could actually go to Lenny Kiefer. But there's still plenty of time left on the board for the remains of that one.
Yeah, there is so much action happening up and down this grid that it's actually difficult to keep up. You can see it on your live timings tower. The difference in interval is categorized in terms of color. So any orange number you're seeing on the left is representing, if you don't want to read the numbers directly, it just is in essence means it is extremely close racing. If you see orange numbers next to each other, white is obviously a bit of a gap, and then yellow is slowly escalating towards a bigger gap. And oh, a little bit of contact there. Despotakis makes contact with Porte Ruiz coming through the stadium now, but Porte Ruiz makes up for it, not letting that get to him. And Pascal Veal has made a jump on the inside. Despotakis has completely lost his drive after that stadium incident, all the way from fighting for P1 down to 4th position now. He's under threat from the AM leader right now behind him, closing in. And once he gets ahead, he's still technically in the running fight for overall. He doesn't have to concede any form of position here. As you can see, trying to hold on to the back now of Despotakis, holding on the inside line of Veal. Veal is holding on strong right now, but on the inside line, you can see that Despotakis is hungry. Double overtake through the next corner, and he manages to try and squeeze himself through, but Porte Ruiz not happy with that one, chucks him right off of the track, with him trying to be so aggressive over there. And Despotakis really pushing the limits of that P-Cup. Not going to happen that easily, and he gets himself a yellow flag there for going off track. Super unfortunate for him there. Porte Ruiz moved up into 2nd position. Veal up into 3rd. Despotakis getting past Engelstad, now back into 4th position. My goodness, there is just so much action happening in the top 10 right now. We can't even comprehend all the orange numbers throughout this entire grid.
Look at Davidas Laurenonis, the white and black with the white and black car with the green rear wing there. He's just entered the battle from nowhere in these last couple of moments, and look at what this battle means. Not just has Laurenonis entered the chat here, but Paul Jufro is 4 seconds down the road. He is now on course for a 3rd win in the ARA Porsche Cup championship here. And if you can win 3 in a row, what an absolute statistic that will be. In toward the hairpin from the Foro Sol section, and Pascal Viel will be looking at that second plate from Frank Porte Ruiz. The Andorran will be hoping to get a really good run as the privateer will exit the final corner and on toward that long backstretch. And look at the rear damage that the Andorran driver has. He is trying to really break the toe on this one down the main straight. That rear damage might do a little bit to his performance, but I do feel like it won't hamper him too much. They go past the brand new baseball stadium that replaces the now Foro Sol stadium section. That is where they built the brand new stadium, and look at that little tussle there. Goes Engelstadt being overtaken by Lauren. So Lauren has pretty much been saving his tires, seeing this battle happen, and now because he's been saving, he's now got the ability to push, while all these drivers have been pretty much distracted with their own battle. Rossell's going to try and now go down the outside here, because this is a big battle between the amateurs. They'll wheel bang in towards turn 5 and then in towards 6 with the inside line. The Spaniard will have it and take it away from the amateur pole sitter as well. Engelstadt will be hoping to try and work his way through and maybe regain that position, but well, it's going to be a tough ask with 10 minutes remaining.
Yeah, there are 10 minutes remaining now of heat number 1, and like we mentioned beforehand, is that the top 10 will be reversed going into the second heat. So for the likes of Carlson and Bjorklund, this could be good for them if they play the strategy right. But for the time being, the fighting is escalating because the battle for first in Pro, as well as the battle for first in AM, is definitely still on the line, because we've got loads of drivers fighting up and down the grid. Tony Despotakis is also trying to hold himself now through stadium. He goes, you can see, just holding on that outside line and fending his way throughout, trying to make up as much as he can. He's really trying to keep that car in play. Onto the back straight they go, though. It's a formal line being structured down towards the back straight, onto the backside now of Pascal Viel. And as they're going to be heading down into turn 1, he looks up onto the inside line, being squeezed off slightly, though, as you can see, and actually going to have the speed to carry it, though. Viel trying to be a little bit dirty there. Oh, there he kind of comes back into the racing line, and both, it looks like Viel and Despotakis completely off of the racetrack. That looked like quite a huge shunt there. We'll get a replay from the production booth in just a moment, but my goodness, we were not expecting that one. It was a little bit readable there with Viel coming back on left to the track after trying to push the likes of Despotakis so far off track. You can see him there just nudging and trying to clear that space. He then flicks left, and not readable there from Lauren Nonis. Both of them into the wall. Despotakis receiving heavy front and rear damage, thankfully managing to recover the car, but that's not going to be a pretty one to drive around for the rest of this race, all the way down behind the likes of Kim Andre Bjorklund and Christian Carlson, who will now lose out from that top 10 advantage switch around. So loads of action here coming into the final couple of minutes in this race. The battle, though, for the AM leadership has also switched around, because Engelstad is chasing on to the back of Russell.
Indeed, that's going to be a massive impact on that one. I think there's going to be some big drivers that not going to be happy about that one. That is the sun getting in the eyes there of Tony Despotakis, who will again not be happy. However, he will potentially be in a decent place come the reverse grid race, so that might be something we have to show in just a moment. Meanwhile, Tristan Engelstad, second place in the amateurs, is trying to chase down at this moment in time Alex Rossell. Down the back main straight we go. Alex Rossell, of course, leading in the in the amateurs for the Walk Racing esports team. Heading down that main straight and in towards turn number 1. Will Engelstad go for the move? Doesn't seem like he will go for it. Just decides to stick back on that one, and I think it's a good idea on that one, because that could have been very, very risky. Remember, you still have about almost 6 and a bit minutes remaining, so you really need to keep on top of maybe keeping your car safe, because there's some big points out here, especially with the likes of, you know, Bjorklund going round. Of course, we've had incidents with the other Norwegian Orden Haug. We've also had that incident with Tony Despotakis as well. So, you know, these guys are coming off left, right and centre, and if there's going to be any more, you may just grab a place just by sticking on the racetrack.
Yeah, it looks like the action is starting to get a little bit dicey, like you mentioned. And drivers are starting to look for ways around, regardless of if it means staying on the track or not. We've seen a couple of the yellow flags being waved for slowdown penalties around the track. Alex Russell, though, is still holding off in first position. He is under threat, though, because on the inside line, Engelstad is looking, coming into stadium, trying to make his way around the AM lead and gain that position back. Kiefer is also a little bit further behind. Oh, a little bit of a bumper kiss there for Rosal on the backside from Engelstad. Coming out of the stadium now, the train is definitely still built up, though, as they hold behind the likes of Lauren just further on in front. You can see Veal a little bit further behind there as well. So the AM first and second still definitely managing to navigate themselves deeply into that pro pack fighting for the lead as it stands, with about 5 minutes and 15 seconds left of racing over here for heat number 1. Oh, loads of dicey moves coming through the first corner over here. Everybody trying to find their line as it comes around over there. Lauren is holding off on the inside, but to switch back now as he is under immense pressure, because that is the likes of the second car over there of Tristan Engelstad trying to fight it around. Veal is also in that fight. Russell is also trying to keep it around, and it's actually difficult to distinguish between the pros and the AMs over here. All 4 of them packed together trying to make it around, but that is the likes of Russell with the white clipped windows mirrors, and as you can see there, Veal has been completely shoved out to the backside. Kiefer is also joined in on this fight after the action that's been happening in front of him. He's had a lot of time to join in here, and the battle for 5th is extending even further in both the AM and the Pro class. As you can see right now, Veal still trying to just make his way past the AM drivers, but now he's got another AM driver behind him, because the likes of Kiefer trying to make his way around in the yellow, black, and white Porsche Cup, and very aggressive driver from himself from the WNS eSport team, trying to make his way up. He is in 3rd position, though, but a 2nd position or even a win here in the AM could be something that he could be chasing.
Indeed he could, and I really do think that these guys are really going to be hunting for every single point they possibly can. Lenny Kiefer, who I've seen before in a BMW M4 GT3, now switching to Porsche Cup here in the ARA Porsche Cup Series, and now he's really trying to hope to get a good amount of points this race and build on what he's had from his 2 wins over the course of Okayama. But down this long main straight here, Tristan Engelstad may even be able to get a place here. They look their way down in towards turn number 1. Oh, it's going to be a pretty close one. Look at Lenny Kiefer, very late on the brakes here, a little bit later than the other driver, and he just remains in that P3 spot in the amateurs. We approach the final 4 minutes left of the session here. He's going to have a look once again here at Tristan Engelstad. It is going to be a big battle between the two, and he's going to send that car up the inside, potentially try and scare the Swedish driver off the road here. It's Quad Dash versus W and SE Motorsport, and E Motorsport wins out in that one, but Tristan Engelstad for Quad Dash will stick on the inside line here, and with that, in towards 7 he goes, will just stay ahead. Fantastic racing between the two, and Lenny Kiefer will immediately be back on the charge, but try to just keep that rhythm in the middle section here is going to be oh so crucial. We've had front running drivers have a little bit of sliding and incidents out of those corners, so you need to be a little bit careful here. Again, Lenny Kiefer trying to get in the mirrors here of Engelstad, but he is running out of time, and with running out of time comes aggression like that one out the inside. Lenny Kiefer with a black flag as well. He runs off the circuit. He will run off the racetrack, and Engelstad will manage to just come in 3rd here, but I'm being told an instant limit there for Lenny Kiefer. He's being told to slow down with that yellow flag, and that is going to be massively dramatic as well. So this is going to be dramatic. You have to pit, I'm being told in my ears as well. So Lenny Kiefer is a bit of a hot bother, I'd say.
Yeah, not what he was expecting coming into these final sectors of the lap, though. And now with exceeding the penalty limit over here, he's now in a little bit of trouble, as that battle for 2nd for himself is well underway, though. A little bit further down for the battle for the AMs, as the Gordon Houge and Joey Island busy fighting it out. A little bit further up in front, though, for the likes of Carlson, and still fighting it out. He's in a huge pack as well. Bjorklund is definitely in there as they're all trying to navigate, but this is within the pack of the AM fight. As you can see over there, Lenny Kiefer still making a couple of taps on the side door there of Engelstad as they head through the chicanes and the corners. There is loads of action up and down over there. The two Norwegian drivers behind trying to make up as much as they can in the pro division over here. They're not near the back enough over here to get the good switch around, which means currently they'll basically be in the middle flip for heat number 2. They'll basically just switch from 5th and 6th to 4th and 5th, respectively, for themselves. So this is where they sit at the time being, but the fight for P1 of AM is definitely well underway over here. But the likes of Kiefer still with that black flag penalty. He's just trying to do as much as he can over here now with 20 seconds left of racing. If he doesn't get this served now, it will be added as a time penalty at the end of the race, because he needs to get this pit stop served. What is the move going to be here for Kiefer? Coming through the final corners here through Stadium. Let's watch where that pickup car goes. And as you can see, pulling up towards the inside line, it does look like he's taking that pit road. And into the pit lane he goes to serve his penalty. He loses out on the monumental fight he's opposed throughout the entire race. Iglesias, Hauge, and Ireland all move up respective positions, thankfully for them. And now Kiefer will lose out completely, all the way down to Cueto down in 8th position and Piniak in 6th. But the fighting will progress further because Engelstad is on the backside of the two pro drivers.
Yeah, I was just having a look in YouTube chat. There was a bit of support there for Lenny Kiefer, which was so unfortunate because he was having a fantastic race, but just too aggressive in towards that hairpin section. And yeah, that was so unfortunate as well. But however, Ruben Iglesias comes from 17th on the grid. I believe he's going to be about maybe 6th or 7th overall. However, this is going to be his first podium in the championship, and that's the power of just surviving. He has managed to put himself in a podium position in the amateurs. White flag is also out. We are coming to the end of this race as well, as Alex Rosell has been doing a fantastic job. But here's the main man of the moment. It is going to be 3-4-3 for Paul Dufresne once he unlocked his magic and got away from that pack. He goes on to win 3 races in a row. Paul Dufresne wins race 1 here in Mexico, and he is going to be absolutely sambering away. Meanwhile, Pascal Ville is going to try and have a look at any more positions as he now approaches that final corner, but won't be able to. It will be Frank Porte Ruiz on his debut to get second ahead of David Esloronones, and Alex Rosell will come home and win in the amateurs ahead of Engelstad and Ruben Iglesias. What a fantastic race here we've had, and a debut race here at Mexico City.
Yeah, incredible stuff shown from loads of drivers up on the pack here. We mentioned we had 2 people new here. Piniak obviously also joining us here for his debut, as well as the likes of Porte Ruiz with the podium finish on his debut here in the Porsche Cup. So incredible finishing off from him there. He'll obviously be rotated down to 8th for heat number 2 starting grid positions. And so he'll have to fight his way up. But James Parker and Steve Kleiss will be having the benefit of the doubt there for the pro division. They'll be switched around to 1st and 2nd respectively coming into heat number 2. What a race we got to experience though, Adam. We saw so much action from both of our divisions and fighting correlatory with each other in between divisions as well. So incredible to see both of the loads of action up and down there from both of them.
Oh, absolutely. It's been an absolute pleasure to watch that. Of course, we do have a second race about to take place as well. So it's been really exciting to watch. Mexico has proved to be a fantastic circuit. I wasn't aware what kind of action would bring when it comes to baby GT racing. But here are your race 1 results. Paul Dufresne is your winner ahead of Frank Porte Ruiz, and David Esloronones rounds up your top 3 with Alex Rosell and Pascal Ville. Christian Carlson for the Sim Racing Norway team will finish ahead of his teammate Kim Andre Bjorklund in P7, with Tristan Engelstad taking 2nd place in the amateurs ahead of Tony Despotakis, and Ruben Iglesias will finish home in P10. Dominic Beck on his debut, the German driver, will finish home in 11th ahead of Gordon Haug, and Joey Island up into 13th place ahead of his fellow Brit of James Parker. Philip Pignac in 15th ahead of Lenny Kiefer, who was of course given that penalty. He falls down to 16th ahead of Steve Kleiss with the Eagle Speed Academy esports team, with Ruben Cueto in P18. Moving down further, we see Xavier Bullana in P19, the American for Prison Motorsport. Decent couple of points for him with Ryan Stringer and Thomas Verm in 21st. Max Nevinche, the Portuguese driver, was a little bit quiet today. However, he has a second race to try and get himself off the back of the grid here. Helder Sequeira will finish home in 23rd ahead of Kevin Chevalier, and then Alex Cassier, Dylan Ham, Danny Huntley and Dylan Ass will round off your 28 cars that took place here. And then, of course, we will have a 3-minute warm-up to try and Baby GT Racing. Baby GT Racing says him in the production. It can be. We'll see how it's all turns out.
Like Baby GT Racing. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it looks. I think the only thing that classifies them as Baby GT Racing is just the size of the car. Obviously, with Porsche Cup being relatively small compared to your GT3s with bigger body kits. But yeah, I mean, especially what our production officer is saying, these guys were racing like they had their lives on the line tonight, especially in our Pro and Am division split across evenly. And so that was just heat 1, which is the scary part. We've still got a whole nother heat here of the exact same race taking place here at the Mexico City Grand Prix circuit. And so the shaping is going to be keeping going out. You can see the sunset is glowing down on the track right now, as we have a couple of drivers getting their warm-ups in just before we head to the next race. Remember, there is no qualifying for heat number 2. That was predetermined. The starting positions are predetermined by your finishing positions in heat number 1, and then obviously the top 10 being switched around for heat number 2, which plays an interesting factor, especially for our Foster drivers who managed to pull away, such as the likes of Paul Jaffro, who managed to completely disappear there in heat number 1. He's going to have to fight his way back up in the middle pack over here to try and claim himself 4 for 4. Do you think he can do it, Adam?
It's going to be a tough one. However, with what we saw in that opening race, I think he's just going to have to try and stay out of trouble. That is going to be the main kind of deciding point in all of this. If you want to go and get a win, you're going to have to remain strong. Here is the grid then. It's going to be Ruben Iglesias starting from pole position with Tony Despotakis, who's looking for his first win in the championship. Can he get it tonight? We'll have to see, with Tristan Engelstad and Kim Andre Bjorklund, with Christian Carlson, Pascal Veal, Alex Russell and Devidas Lauronones. Frank Porcero Ruiz alongside Paul Dufresne on that 5th row of the grid, with Dominic Beck and Gordon Howe. We're going to be going to green lights very, very soon. And we now move further on down the grid. Joey Ireland and James Parker ahead of Philip Pignac and Lenny Kiefer, with Steve Kleiss and Ruben Cueto ahead of Javier Bullana and Ryan Stringer. And then we see Thomas Berg, Max Nevinchai, Helder Sequeira, Kevin Chevalier, Alex Cassier, Dylan Ham, and Danny Huntley and Dylan Ass. That is the grid then, and we head to the race here. We wait for those 5 red lights to light up in front of the drivers, and here they are. All 5 lights are about to go out. Here they go. And we go racing once again here in Mexico. Decent start from Iglesias, but who's that pulling to the left-hand side? And through goes Tony Despotakis. He got a decent start, better than the amateur. Down in towards the first corner he goes. He got the best start here. It's all about surviving this first corner here, and they run their way down towards turn number 1. A big amount of movement there in the middle. That could have caused a bit of a collision. 4 wide in towards turn number 1, but it looks like it shrinked it down to 3, shrinked it down to 2, shrinked it down to 1, and managing to get it through safely. There's a bit of puff of smoke there that was at the back, but they looked like they managed to get through. But what about that 4-5 chicane? That might involve a little bit more carnage here because of how tight it is. In towards the brakes, and so is that Porsche throw up the inside once again for the Unity Racing team. He's going to try and maybe make his way up 2-3 places off the start here, but in towards 6, they all pile through. Still 3 wide at the back, and there's a super start there for Tony Despotakis.
Incredible stuff there. Loads of drivers leaping up there. Despotakis getting his way up into P1 there for the pro standings. The live timing tower will come to you shortly on the left-hand side, but currently Ruben Iglesias holding off first position overall. And there we get to see it. It's currently, Despotakis holding off first position overall. Iglesias holds off first position in class. As we also see the likes of Gordon Hauge in third position with Alex Rosal in fourth. And so the action is definitely starting to stack over here. Bjorklund, though, is fighting on behind him. He's got his teammate of Carlson and Despotakis, as you can see, already pulling away from that pack. He's got Iglesias behind him. He's got an AM driver. And so he's trying to use that as his advantage right now to pull away as far as he possibly can. As soon as Jeffro gets past the packing over here, he's going to be chasing down onto the backside of Despotakis. We saw them fighting throughout Heat 1. And so we might be seeing identical rhythms being played over here for Heat number 2, a 30-minute race to determine the winner for Heat number 2 over here for round 2 at the Mexican Grand Prix circuit. And incredible stuff over here for some of the drivers. Pascal Viel looking up onto the inside line into turn 1, jumps up onto the inside line of Carlson over here, breaking through the Norwegian team pack over here. And through the chicane he goes. You can see a little bit further behind, though, as Lauren Nonis is also starting to get very shaped up behind. A couple of yellow flags being played there for Porte Ruiz, as well as Dominic Beck, both of them having slowdown penalties there for exceeding track limits. And this is how it's going to continue to flow, though. Loads of action, though. The likes of Lauren looking up on the inside line, though. He's fighting very hard to keep himself. Oh, and there's contact with one of the Norwegian drivers, and that's Carlson getting forced out wide, though. Porte Ruiz does get an advantage up into 6th position there for himself. And the pro class is looking to be shaped up, as is loads of action. The lights have been turned on. The racetrack is starting to get a little bit dark, and that'll play into driver consistency coming into the final 27 minutes here for tonight's racing.
I already have to hope that they can just keep it on track there, and there's a couple of scything up the inside. I wonder if that's potentially Frank Porte Ruiz as the track continues to now get a little bit darker here. Porte Ruiz having a go here on, I think that's going to be Davidas Lorenomis around the outside. Goes the Andorran driver, forced a little bit off the circuit, but he'll have the inside line for the Forest Soul hairpin section. Fantastic move there made by him, and they now carry their way on toward that final corner and on towards that start-finish line. We'll see Lauren Onis now just tucking himself onto that inside line, but Porte Ruiz will have that outside line, and good exit here. He's trying to pick up a bit of slipstream. They're into the wall, and into the wall he goes, and Porte Ruiz will have to just hold his brakes. Has he managed to get himself straight there? He has. That is an absolute miracle. My word.
What on earth did we just speculate on the back straight? I mean, I just saw Porte Ruiz absolutely hammer the right side pit wall and then spin his Porsche Cup around and make sure it's back on track in the middle, planted and ready to go. He does have the meatball flag, unfortunately. It looks like he took a relatively hard hit there. We'll have a replay, though, coming up just to see what happened there. You can see he's way further behind there, down in 9th position now, and really starting to fend off. You can see the camber on the front there is slightly damaged. He's trying to hold the car off as strong as he can. But, oh, and there he loses it, unfortunately. The car just very difficult to control with that damage and not doing too well either. So the same for the likes of Clyde's just a little bit further down in 12th. He's also got a meatball flag. But now with the replay of what happened here on the back straight, yes, Porte Ruiz, as you can see, coming through the chicane, if the final chicane, I believe this is through Stadium. This is actually, this is his first incident already after the straight line incident where he spun over the nose. And so just showing his car control difficulty, we might be able to find it there a little bit further back. But if not, we'll just have to go based on what we saw over there. He flicked it back on track. And as you can see over there, pulling off onto the inside line, he's letting people go past through to this replay, as he genuinely is just struggling to keep that Porsche Cup on all 4 wheels throughout this race, though. Back onto the replay. Here we go. We've got it accurate now. It was Davidas Laurononis on the inside line. Who turned into who over here? Laurononis turning more and more left, and it looks like he just veers into the bite side of the likes of Porte Ruiz. You can see he gets knocked off completely and then manages to align himself again on the straight. You can see massive rear end damage, though, for himself as he bounced off the pit lane wall. And that's a hard concrete barrier. There's no Tech Pro there to help him be saved. And loads of damage on the front and back of that Porsche. He's in the pit lane. Super unfortunate there for Porte Ruiz.
Yeah, he'll be a little bit frustrated with that one after his fantastic second place in that opening one. But here is another, I believe, privateer. No, sorry, my error. He's with the Walk Racing esports team. It's Alex Russell, who is hoping and fighting to try and put himself up to a better position there. But Philippe Pignac is the one getting forced out and shoveled out to the left-hand side in that one as he carries his way out towards the next couple of corners. And then we will look back up to Lenny Kiefer, who is doing a fantastic job of just defending his this whole train of cars that is absolutely wild here. He does have, I believe, that's going to be the I think, yeah, it just looks like all round down in towards the next corner, and that's Pascal Veal, who is now looking at a 3-car battle here with Bjorklund, and I think that's Ruben Iglesias potentially as well. We can't quite tell as well because of course it is split currently into pro and amateur, but when we do the switch back we'll be able to tell a little bit more easily. But Pascal Veal is now going to be heading down this long back stretch here, and he'll have to now see if he can potentially just hold out here. And there we go, Ruben Iglesias there just behind this one, getting a double dose of slipstream, but it's Tespatakis and Jufro at the front of the field. Now to the left hand side for Bjorklund, just a little bit of an early break there to try and potentially just maybe get Veal to have a bit of a mistake here, and so he can slither his way through.
Yeah, Bjorklund just on the backside now of Veal, as you were talking about it though. And the battle for third is definitely on. The live timings tower will remain the same like this, just for easier viewing across the Pro and Pro-Am divisions for the remainder of the race here for the next 23 minutes, just to see, because obviously the AMs are continuously sticking with each other here with the Pro class as well, and making sure that they are well intertwined here for the fighting pack over here. And currently Bjorklund still trying to fight on to the backside of Veal as they keep on going on strong. But currently we do have a yellow flag a little bit further down for the likes of Dylan Ham. He's got a yellow flag for needing to slow down. But through the entire mid-pack, we've got loads and loads of battles we can go and watch onto, as we see loads and loads of orange numbers. What we spoke about in the previous race, orange means very close and ready to attack. As you can see, a massive line of cars there behind the likes of Gordon Howard. He's got Joey Ireland, Ryan Stringer, James Parker, Kevin Chevalier. All these cars trying to get past him behind, and all of them in a one straight line. There's a mixture of Pro and Am drivers in there, and all trying for a fighting chance over here. Parker holding off on the inside line though. He's got Chevalier on the outside trying to make a position there for the Unity Racing team. Obviously the same team there of Jafro. Oh, there's a car in the middle of the track. That's Iglesias. He's lost it completely down into 19th position sideways through stadium, and trying to recover himself now. We'll get a replay shortly just to see what happened. That might have been self-conflicted error there from the likes of Iglesias. It looked like he lost the rear, and we'll get on board with him shortly. As we keep on going down the back straight there, Ireland has gotten past Pignac, and it's been switched around. But on the replay now with Iglesias coming through stadium section, was it self-inflicted, or did he receive a bit of contact coming out of one of the hairpins? Over the curb he goes, and a completely self-inflicted spin around there for him, just losing the rear grip and trying not to rejoin the track unsafely, and super unfortunate for him. But thankfully his race continues for the next 20 minutes.
Yeah, it does seem like that's the way he's going to go on that one, but it's a super unfortunate one there for him. But Ryan Stringer, we're currently looking at here. Ooh, we've got a bit of a disconnect, I think. That's not ideal, but we look to be back here. That was a momentary disconnect, it seemed like, so hopefully we'll be able to stay in touch with everything here. And meanwhile, Pascal Veal is going to be holding out here with Kim Andre Bjorklund just behind him here. Bjorklund hoping to try and get himself on towards the podium here, but Pascal Veal is going to be not going to take it lying down. He's going to fight this all the way to the end. But I want to focus here a little bit on Lenny Kiefer, because I've noticed that he's gone up 11 places from his starting position. Fantastic, as he currently leads the amateurs as well. Flash of the lights there from Bjorklund, but there he is currently running in a fantastic 5th place, holding off the likes of David Asloranonis and Dominic Beck as well. So he's doing a fantastic job, and our double winner from back at Okayama is doing a sterling job, hoping to hold out and grab some more very crucial points. The battle continues up into third place.
Yeah, there's loads of action as we've seen. And we've had somebody go and crash again, like we're being told in our ears over here. But currently on board with Pascal Veal, in third position. Bjorkland still on the backside of him. And that mid-pack fight that we saw a little bit earlier with all the orange numbers has slowly dissipated a bit. The gaps have been formed a bit, and more yellow figures are starting to be displayed on the left side timing tower. And so the fighting is starting to slowly dissipate. Drivers are starting to find comfort levels. Some drivers are beginning to pull away, and some are starting to drop off. And that is unfortunately how racing goes, specifically in GT and tin top racing, where we don't have advanced controls and catch-up mechanisms like DRS or KERS like you see in open wheel formula racing. And so all these drivers can rely on is items such as slipstream and just general driving skill over here. The track is starting to turn dark as well, which means this is what the drivers need to start focusing on more. Ireland has started falling off the pack though. He's falling off hugely, and he's all the way down the timing tower over there. We'll have a replay though, just to see what happened there with Joey Ireland coming out of one of the corners here through the next, and climbing onto the curb here, just touching the sand, and we could see that one from a mile away. Rear grip loss there from touching the sand, but very impressive save there from connecting with those barriers, and manages to get that car from Square One Systems back in a straight line and not squared up into the wall. So thankfully for him, he keeps on going. Stringer though on the backside of Pignac, and the battle for 12th there as well, where they keep on going. Chevalier is a little bit further behind though as well, obviously a different class, but Chevalier might have a chance here just behind Stringer to make an overtake coming down on the back straight. You can see he's slowly starting to catch up with the slipstream that the P-Cup offers. It's not much compared to wider-based vehicles, but there is definitely still a lot of slipstream to gain from here. Will it be a dive from Chevalier? It does not look like it on this lap. He manages to hold back and sit behind the likes of Stringer for this lap around, and that is how it's going to turn out now. Still about 20 or so minutes left of racing. 17 minutes left of racing as we keep on going around track. The likes of Russell still fighting on though. He's got Carlson a little bit further behind him. The battle for 10th as Carlson is trying to get past. Obviously, once again, different classes fighting over here, but nonetheless, an overall fight must still be played out here for round number two here. And this is how it's going to continue to shape on for the rest of this night race.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to be a superb little tussle there in the mid-pack here, as Rossell is now currently in that mid-pack here. He's trying to fight with Engelstadt for that 8th place and 2nd place in the amateur category. So this is quite an important battle, but also you've got Christian Carlsen there for Sim Racing Norway. He's hoping to push through after the accident in race 1 between both the teammates that were completely different teammates. That was Haug and Bjorkland. He's now trying to hopefully get past these two to try and create a bit of breathing space and a bit of a fighting force for Sim Racing Norway. He's in the double toe here of Engelstadt and Rosell. So stay with this battle here, because Carlson might be able to go for a very aggressive double maneuver. He's gaining here on Rosell up towards turn number 1. You see the car starting to vibrate with the camera, and you have a look up the inside here, down in towards turn number 1. Will he slice it up the inside there of Rosell? Absolutely, but Rosell will try and fight it here on the red and black car of Christian Carlsen. Will have to back out of that one, but he'll have an opportunity in towards 4. They go, and he will try and open up the advantage. We open now to halfway distance into this one. A brilliant 2nd and 3rd sector between Carlsen and Howe. Get a brilliant comparison there at the bottom of the screen. Almost 0.8 of a second faster was Howe as well, so he's trying to gain some points as well. A very strong competitor in that amateur class especially is Howe as well. But remember, Carlsen had been batting away here with Alex Rosell, so with Engelstadt now starting to try romp his way down the road, will these two allow that to happen with their batting, or will they kind of stick together here? This is going to be one to really try and figure out.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a fight we have to watch out for the remaining 15 minutes left. We've reached halfway mark here, and now the likes of Chevalier trying to get past Ryan Stinger. Different classes, but fighting on strong though. Chevalier leaps up on the inside line. It looks like he's going to be able to hold it. He gets the inside. going into the following corner, the hairpin, and he should be able to hold that. But back up to the top, Despotakis has had a little bit of breathing room after generating quite a nice gap. But unfortunately, he has started to see a couple of headlights being flashed at him in the background, because guess who's behind? Geoffroy is once again in the contention over here, the battle for first. I asked you in the beginning, Adam, if you think he could do it. You mentioned he could potentially do it, and here he is already in second position behind Despotakis. They've got an 8-second gap behind the two of them. So the battle for first is on over here. Despotakis will need to defend for his life in this remaining last half of this race. Will it be 4 for 4 for Geoffroy, or will it be broken? Will the streak be ended here by the Greek of Despotakis? And it's all going to come down to what they can do. But Geoffroy really showing that competitive fearlessness as he comes around in the P Cup. He's bringing that real-life knowledge into track knowledge over here. Nighttime racing can prove complicated for a couple of drivers, but for both of these two, seems like they're experienced enough to control themselves out here. The temperatures will drop slightly as we head through Nighttime Valley over here, but it won't be too much though to affect the car. The car is still being, it's still driving continuously from the remainder of this race. 22 degrees ambient and 25 degree track, so a little bit cold from what we normally operate on in the 30 degrees on track temp. And so it does mean it is driving. It is starting to cool down quite a little bit over there. And so be on the lookout for timing tower dropouts. We might see a couple of people losing the rear here. The Porsche Cup car has been known to be a little bit complicated with control. So add the element of not being able to see too well as the element of a coolness on the track, and we could potentially see a couple more incidents coming our way. We don't bet on it, but it is unfortunately racing, and anything can happen at this point in time.
Absolutely, that's what motor racing is all about. Oh, bit of a tap at the wall there for Christian Carlsen. He's going to now be feeling pressure here from Gordon Haug, his Sim Racing Norway teammate. So I wonder if they're going to have a little bit of a tussle, or will it be kind of some Norwegian rules in here? Because, of course, you can't battle too hard, otherwise it causes all sorts of kerfuffle, especially between teammates. That's not what you want whatsoever. So Sim Racing Norway are really going to have to take this pretty seriously if they want to get the maximum out of this race. Their current leading car is Kim-Andre Bjorklund. And we now look back to this lead battle, and it just seemed like Paul Geoffroy is a little bit stronger into those kind of rotating corners. I think he just has more rotation when he comes to that Porsche Cup. He's allowing the car to roll through the corners in towards some of those sweeping sections, and it's just been superb to watch. Remember, Paul Geoffroy, who came from 10th place on the grid due to that top 10 reverse, now finds himself right on the back here of Tony Despotakis. Despotakis will be having a look all over, seeing where that car is, that Unity Racing Team yellow and black livery is. I think part of it will probably be absolutely blinded or invisible to the naked eye in the dark conditions here at Mexico. But down the straight will be the next opportunity here for Paul Geoffroy. We now look to this little tussle, and there's been a collision there. That looks like Alex Russell from the second place of the amateur class as well, and that's going to be very, very disappointing. Pignac will need to go and have a slowdown here as well, so he's going to have to slow down right onto this one as Sim Racing Norway continue to push on ahead. And I think also there's going to be a decent exit at the for the race lead here. But well, let's have a look at this one. Tristan Engelstadt now having a look to the outside line, and it looks like Christian Carlsen is going to be the one to try and defend this one. And right around the outside goes Christian Carlsen. Fantastic maneuver in that one. Ooh.
A little bit of bumping going on there coming out of the chicane, and there is so much action escalating on over here. The battle for 8th is definitely on. Engelstadt is fighting as hard as he possibly can over here as they continue to push each other on, but further up in front there, Despotakis is starting to receive way more pressure here from Geoffroy, who's starting to get a little bit impatient behind. You mentioned it, Adam, that he's got a little bit of a different driving style currently in the Porsche Cup, and if letting the car flow a little bit better through the corners, that could potentially help him with tire wear that we might be seeing towards the final extension of this race. And so we're going to have to see what happens over here. Lauren Onis gets himself a yellow flag over there, a slowdown penalty, unfortunately for himself. And that is what it's going to be looking like. But back down to the battle for 9th. It is escalating all the way down from 9th to 14th position, as all these drivers now trying to fight their way through. Coming onto the back straight, though, and onto the main straight for Despotakis. This is going to be threat. We'll go on board, though, with Jufro to see his pull from the slipstream over here. As you can see, it is just getting closer and closer. Here's Despotakis. He's got the clear air. Here's the likes of Jufro. Look at how close he's getting on the inside line, blocking there for Despotakis as he holds off on the inside, and Jufro is looking on the outside line to try and make his way around, and just not getting enough. Extremely defensive play coming from Despotakis over here. He does not want to let this go past. The lion roars echoing on the back of that spoiler, and that's what he's trying to annotate there in first position, holding off strong currently. And this is going to be the constant switch around for these two drivers. Jafro once again on the attack, but it looks like Despotak is well prepared for it. Switches from inside to the other inside, and he is so prepared for the moves being thrown right now from Jufro. But now holding off on the inside line, he pushes him over the curbs there. And there is so much action between the top. There's a movement as well, because Pignac has dropped down to 15th. Chevalier has dropped down to 14th. Yeah, Pignac is dropping all the way down to 17th, down to 18th. What has happened there to the likes of Pignac? Philip Pignac in 18th position. Unfortunately, lost out now all the way down to 19th as well. And Paul Jafro has gone off into second over here. It looks like he tried to push too hard onto the back of Despotakis, and he's lost out there for the battle for first for the time being.
That's massive in the battle as well, and that sees Tony Despotakis take a big sigh of relief. Let's have a look at that one. First of all, let's have a look at this was Pignac. So through the chicane of 1, 2, 3, that Kevin Chevalier just kind of pins Chevalier on that one, but I don't want to point any fingers, so yeah, we'll have to leave that one down to the stewards. That's a pretty tough one off the naked eye as well, so that's not going to be ideal whatever happened on that one. But we don't have a replay on Paul Jufro, but I'll let you know what happens there, because that was basically we get for the replays, you have to go like less than a certain amount of miles per hour or kilometers per hour if you're anywhere else in the world, and then our software will trigger for a replay, and with that spin or half spin that Jufro had, he didn't register underneath that certain amount of miles per hour, so it didn't register as a replay. So that's why Paul Jufro pretty much doesn't get a replay on that one. But yeah, I think what happened on that one is he was right underneath the rear wing of Despotakis. A little bit of dirty air, kind of plus the tires also fading. I think he may have touched a white line in that one somewhere, so that kind of presented that half spin, but he just managed to hold it on that one. Pretty good stuff there from Jufro, but yeah, he's not got long left to try and catch up back to Despotakis. But yeah, that was some strong defensive driving, I should say, by the Greekman, as his teammate Kevin Chevalier, of course, Jufro teammate Chevalier trying to hold off here. James Parker, the privateer, pushes on this little battle for 13th.
Yeah, the curbs are going to slowly start to become more and more volatile as the night transgresses, because like you mentioned, Adam, tires are starting to become a slight of a risk here to these Porsche Cups. The tires will slowly begin to wear now, and I believe that is also what happened to Jafro. I think just a little bit too much pushing behind the wing of Despotakis, a little bit of dirty air to lift the car off from the ground a little bit, and just touching one wrong paint line or even a curb there and just chucking him off. Oh, and we've got a contact over there, because Iglesias gets past the double overtake. Sequeira and Kassir have both made a mistake over there. A little bit of an incident through the stadium, and we'll flash back to that quickly to see what happens over here on board, though, with Alice Kassir closing in over here. You can see the likes of Iglesias behind him, and that's Sequeira just a little bit further in front of him. Whoa, that is a very deep dive there for Kassir, and completely jumping in. He actually throws the flashes there. Not too sure who's in the wrong there, but that was a very courageous dive from Kassir, and not too happy with that one. Completely sending Sequeira around in circles. Iglesias making 2 positions up there, and a little bit further up, though, to Alex Russell in 10th position. He holds off the top 10 right now, with the likes of Gordon Hauge just getting past right now. Gordon Hauge will try and make a cutback, because a mistake has been made there from Russell. A little bit too deep through the one corner, and it sends him chucking through the next corner off onto the grass over there, and Carlson will get past him as well as Stringer. So Russell, a little bit of a mistake there has turned into major consequence for him. The likes of Claes down into Claes in 24th has got himself a black flag, and the likes of I believe that's Dylan Ast, or yeah, that's Dylan Ast also with a meatball flag. So something's gone on over there down in the backpack of this race, and a little bit of penalties and repair flags being shown over there for these drivers. So something's obviously happened under our nose over there. Unfortunately, a little bit further back, not being witnessed over there, but Stringer is now fighting as hard as he possibly can with the likes of Russell, who's trying to make back with that incident he had. A little bit of a flashback, yeah, from Dylan Aston. This is where the meatball flag came from. Through the hairpin he goes of Stadium, climbs over the curb, and oh, that is a very odd one, actually. Just, getting chucked a little bit off from the curb and not able to catch the car. Into the wall he goes. The concrete definitely serving damage there to the back left suspension of that Porsche Cup, and not able to get the car out again. Into the pit lane he goes with the meatball flag, and that might just be Dylan Ast's race done. He's got 3 minutes left of racing over here. Despotakis has got a lot of gap between himself, but Bjorklund is on for a fight here for the final position of the podium.
He is. He's been fighting this battle all race long, and Kim Andre Bjorklund is now going to try and get that podium place. Of course, was hit off by his own teammate in the first race, but he'll hope to fight back in this one, and a podium will be so well deserved for the Norwegian driver. He'll have to try and fight this one first. It's been a strong defense from Pascal Viel for the ARA esports team. I think he's just still trying to push on there, but off the rhythm there for Pascal Viel. I'm sure that will deploy maybe a 2x for going off the track there, but he does keep in front just that little bit, so maybe using one of his off-track limits here to try and stay ahead of the Norwegian driver. But Pascal Viel has had a bit of a difficult I think he's had a bit of a difficult first couple of races. If I just try and find him on my spreadsheet, but yeah, he's had quite the battles over the course of this one. As Ryan Stringer also looks for a top 11 place, as he looks to try and get past Alex Russell. That is for 4th and 5th in the amateurs as well, as Stringer looks to be going up 9 places from his starting positions. He's in the slipstream already of the Spaniard. We reach a minute and a half remaining of this race, and Russell will very much be on the back here. You will be attacked by the Briton. You'll go to the outside line with that overspeed. Should just etch ahead, but he'll have a big old fight on his hands in towards that turn 1 corner, and Russell will just try and force him out, which he does.
Yeah, loads of action still happening, regardless of with it being 1 minute left of racing over here. There is still loads happening. Stringer is definitely on the back there of Russell for the battle for 11th, but currently Despotakis has got so much clean air in front of him. Unfortunately, with Jafral just getting a little bit unsettled a couple laps back, that fight rendered completely nullified, and so Despotakis having a little bit of no man's land for his final sectors over here, and the white flag will be present to him either now in this lap or the next coming lap, as he comes around here through the stadium section over here. We'll know shortly if it is his white flag or not, or if it's one more lap left for him though. But he's at a monumental drive regardless after tonight's race, and it has been one of definite note for Despotakis, the Greek driver over here. And it is indeed white flag being waved over there. One more lap of pushing for the Greek driver over here. No threats around him at present at the moment, but currently the fighting is still progressing on because Stringer is trying to catch up to the back of Russell. Chevalier is also in this fight, as well as Parker a little bit down there in 14th, and this is the main fight out on track. The very bare bone dark track, no stadium lighting here to assist these GT cars. There's no Formula cars here without headlights. These are fully functioning independent machines that can shine the track themselves, and so you'll see complete darkness if you're sitting in the grandstand in person here. Good luck, because all you're going to see is beaming headlights, and if someone dares flash someone else in your peripheral view, good luck. Your eyes are going to have a bit of a stain on them. But throughout the rest of the fighting, Laura Nonis and Beck continuously changing position over here, and this has been good fighting from the two over here as well, as they keep on fighting. Beck has had a much better race this time around, But with now the white flag being out, it's the final couple of moments here left of race number 2.
Indeed, it's been a fantastic race. It's gone from dusk till the night stages here, and it's going to be a fantastic race for Tony Despotakis. Paul Giuffreau, after his incident, decided to take it a little bit lightly. That's why he's dropped back over a second and a half from his spin. But the LionGPFencer.com driver is going to be already tail wagging towards the finish line. But in the end, the Lion does roar. And round the final corner, the roar will be for Tony Despotakis. The streak ends for the Frenchman. The new one starts for the Greekman. What a fantastic run for Tony Despotakis. And oh, that's going to be Devidas Laureanonis and Beck in the last moments of this race. In race 2, and Beck on his debut will just try and cling on to 7th. Kim-Andre Bjorklund grabs 3rd as well, away from Pascal Veal by 0.2 of a second. And Lenny Kiefer take the 3rd win in the amateurs. Laureanonis ahead of Beck, ahead of Engelstad, who will finish 2nd in the amateurs, ahead of Christian Carlson and Alex Rossell, who will round out the top 10 and 3rd in that amateur class. A absolute classy race here, and a brilliant introduction to what action you can see at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. To everyone at Apex Racing TV and everyone involved in this championship, can we have Mexico every year? I think that would be a fantastic addition. Can we just have it every season? Maybe have it a season finale? Who knows?
Yeah, definitely one of the better tracks we've seen for racing. Obviously, we didn't know what to expect with the Porsche Cups. It's not the traditional kind of car you see racing over here, as Adam calls it, the baby GTs racing around track over here. But they definitely didn't race like babies today. Everybody showed their absolute skill today, in the night, in the day, in the dark, regardless of what the status was of the track, the cold, the hot, and everybody coming across the line successfully over here. An incredible race there from Despotakis to finish it on in 1st position there, breaking the streak, like we mentioned, of Giuffreau. And he's not going to be happy about that one, but unfortunately that's racing sometimes, and he's got many more rounds to make up for it. But there we go, race 2 results. Tony Despotakis will take 1st position, followed by Paul Giuffreau. Kim-Andre Bjorklund will take the final spot of the podium there. Pascal Veal will take 4th. Lenny Kiefer, the 1st position slot there of the AM division, but 5th overall. Devidas Laureanonis in 6th position with Dominic Beck. Tristan Engelstad 2nd in the AM division, 8th overall. Christian Carlson in 9th with Alex Russell in 10th. Kevin Chevalier in 11th with James Parker 12th. Ryan Stringer in 13th. Gordon Haug in 14th, followed by Ruben Iglesias in 15th and Halder Sequeira in 16th position. Joey Ireland and Philip Piniak in 17th and 18th respectively. Following on from 19th, Alice Kassir and Thomas Worm, followed by Max Nevinciani and Dylan Ham in 22nd position. Ruben Cueto in 23rd, and Dylan Ass will round off in 24th position. Steve Kalai in 25th position with Danny Huntley in 26th. Xavier Bullen at 27th, and rounding off our 28 car grid, Frank Porte Ruiz, unfortunately not having the race he so desperately desired after that round 1 incredible debut. Unfortunately down to 28th here in heat number 2.
Indeed, we've had a fantastic race, 2 races I should say, here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez, of course, built by Herman Tilke. I can't remember if I actually said that in the introduction. I probably did. But we do have some interviews. Let's have a look and see what we have in the waiting room. It looks like we do have someone called Pika G. Not entirely sure who that is. Paul Frozen here, and Kim-Andre Bjorklund. Let's drag in. Let's drag in Paul Giuffreau. First of all, do we drag in? Who are we going to drag in? We'll see who comes up in the Discord, of course. So I'll allow someone else to do those honors, and we'll get us started with that one. So do I do the dragging? It looks like I do the dragging. So I do have the ability to do so.
You've got the power.
I have the power apparently, but It's not allowed. It's not allowed to. I think you don't have too many ones. Here we go.
Hello.
Paul Giuffro, you are live on Apex Racing TV. First of all, congratulations on your results. Talk us through the qualifying because, of course, Mexico's a brand new circuit. It's been, an interesting circuit to have. How have you gone about your preparation?
Basically, I wanted to drive more, but I was in Oschersleben for my real race in Euro NASCAR. But so I basically just train past Thursday, and I just wanted to make some more laps, but I was in another place.
And then talk us through that first race because it got pretty chaotic as well. How did you kind of go about dealing with so many cars in that tight space?
Yeah, it was amazing. I was really taking a lot of fun. It was really diving from area at the rear, at the front. So yeah, it was just really fun to drive with all those guys. And so we won it. So it was nice. I think I've made the good decision. When I decided to stay behind, it was the good decision. And when I decided to overtake, we already made a 4-second gap because they stay to fight between each other. So it was, I think, the perfect race for me. And it was really fun to fight with all those guys.
And then, of course, coming over the line to take your victory, it was your third in a row. How much does that mean? Does it mean a lot?
Yeah, because it's my first ever league on iRacing, so I wasn't expecting nothing about it, but for sure now we are fighting for the lead of the championship. Unfortunately, there wasn't Corey Lazarus. I don't know why, but I was expecting him to be there because he's really fast. So I'm really happy of this win. I wanted to win 4 in a row. You can be sure of that, but it's racing, but I think we've made a good second race too.
Of course, talk about that kind of mistake because we did see it on the live cameras. We couldn't get a replay of it, but kind of talk us through it from your perspective.
Yeah, the track went really dark. We are in the night at the end of this race, and I wasn't really focused. I was in a stream, and I was telling my streamer I will maybe lift off because I was really tight in incident. I had 16, so a 4x contact would have given me a drive through. And while I was speaking, I just put my left tire on the curb and I lost the rear immediately. So I think it was a message from above to say me, okay, stop fighting and just keep this second place.
Indeed. Just 2 more questions because, of course, we do have Portimao coming up. How much are you looking forward to that?
I will look. I don't know if I fit well to this track. It's one of my favorite tracks for sure, but with the Porsche Cup, I remember it's pretty hard on dry conditions. You're looking really easily the rear, so we will see. And I think I can win races there, but we will see. I need to work for sure.
And just finally, you've got this incredible lead in the championship, but you're also doing incredibly well in your real life racing in Euro NASCAR. Do you think you may have to put this over to the side to focus on Zolder?
For sure, everything on sim racing is passing at the second plan for sure, because it's so much effort, so much money we put in real life, thanks to my sponsors and everything. So yeah, you can be sure that my first aim of everything will be Zolder. I can maybe take my first Euro NASCAR Pro Championship. So yeah, I'm just totally focused to this race. I will do a test day the 12th of October there. And you can be sure it will be my aim to win in Euro NASCAR.
Paul, it's been a pleasure to talk to you. All the best for the for the esports championship, your first league race as well. That was an amazing thing to be involved in, and also Euro NASCAR. It's been also a pleasure to watch you race multiple times at Brands Hatch as well. I mentioned that during the qualifying part of the stream, but yeah, thank you so much for your time, and all the best in Zolder as well. Hopefully, I'll be watching you closely.
Okay, thanks for you guys, and yeah, I hope you had a good race. See you.
Take care. That was Paul Giuffreau. Tristan, do you want to take on the next interviewee?
Yeah, sure. I'll take Kim Bjorklund over here. Kim, welcome into the commentary box. You're live on the ARA Porsche Cup after round 2 here. How are you feeling after that race, Heat 1 and Heat 2?
Okay, I guess. A little bit shame that my teammate took me out in race 1 because I was trying to defend from the car behind. So
Yeah, talk us through that situation. We obviously saw it from the aerial cam. What happened there? Was it just a little bit of a miscommunication and a misplacement of cars?
he was watching his mirror and to know where the car behind was, and he said he wasn't going to send it on me, and I went for the apex, and just before the touch, I got a message from the spotter that car inside, so I didn't have the time to pull out of the turn-in.
Super unfortunate there, but I'm sure Heat 2 definitely went better. Talk us through Heat 2. Obviously, that went venturing into the nighttime of racing here.
Yeah, it was. I struggled mid-race with. I was overdriving the car, so I slided very much in the stadium section at the end, so I couldn't get a good overspeed on Pascal. But at the last lap, I made some. I made him defend really hard and just went for it in the second to last corner, and yeah, that got me P3.
Wow, it was a great result nonetheless for P3 in Heat 2. But next time around here in the ARA Porsche Cup, you head to Portimao. How are you feeling for the next track?
Portimao Portimao is a really fun track. Little bit hard to overtake because it's so medium to high speed all around the track. So, and you could have some accidents there. I'm not sure if it's B or C race next time. C again, maybe. So yeah, we'll just find out later in the week.
And his final one, is there anybody you'd like to mention or anything you'd like to shout out before you head out of the commentary box?
Of course, my teammates and the sponsors of the team.
Incredible stuff. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We'll see you next week at Portimao.
Thanks.
Alrighty, and that was Kim Andre Bjorklund. And Adam, take us away for the final person in our interview waiting area.
And that last person is going to be Alex Russell. Alex, you are live on Apex Racing TV. An interesting race for you around Mexico. How did you deal with the brand new circuit? Because it kind of leveled the playing field.
Well, it was super difficult at the beginning in the preparation. The practice, everything was not in the times, not in the pace, and suddenly, I don't know, in a couple of days I got the pace, and I didn't expect, to be honest, being like this up. I was expecting P20 or something like that, and in 2 days everything changed. So
Of course, talk about talk about the battles throughout the race, because there are some pretty close fights on the circuit. Of course, you did superbly well in your results for the amateur class. How much of a confidence does this mean to you?
No, it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, people helped me. Like David helped me a lot in the first race. Didn't pay out, but in the second, all I learned from the Porsche Cup, how to drive it, everything was super. And the fights, well, you need experience to handle that, and I think it's the most I need to improve but it's hard. It's hard. Hard racing, not always paying out for me. But at the end, yeah, first lap it's something that I need to work on.
Indeed, and of course, experience comes with time. And we've got so many rounds left of this championship. Where do you kind of hope to be by the end of the season? I know it's quite a long way, but what are you kind of hoping to reach?
I mean, I'm not sure right now because the first round was so bad for me, and now seeing myself this up. I don't know. Depends on the circuit. I know I'm strong at the final rounds, but the starting rounds, let's see. Let's see. I don't know yet. But if I have to say something, P5 and above, it's my objective.
And just kind of finally going on to the next round in Portimao, how confident do you feel around here? Because it's going to be a pretty tough circuit, especially with the elevation and potentially the traction as well. This is a car with no assists with it.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, like in Mexico, I'm not sure right now. It's all shadow in front, and I need to work really hard to really be like today. On the top 10, even top 5, it's super hard. The competition is super tough. There's people super fast. Let's see, but I'll put the work and hopefully it pays out like in Mexico.
Alex, you could be really proud of your results today. Thank you so much for talking to us. Take care of yourself, and we'll see you at the next round in Portimao in 7 days' time.
Thank you.
Actually, before you go, sorry,
yeah.
is there anyone you want to shout out before we head off stream?
Oh, well, people watching me that I sent the link, shout out to them all. And, well, my, let's say, coach, David, it's the reason that I'm fast here and I expect in the next rounds. So yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alex. See you. See you soon. This is Alex Rossell there, thanking all the people watching, and I want to thank you, everyone that's still in the stream watching, because even a couple of friends of mine and grandparents have been watching along. So I think we've all got to say thank you to everyone kind of involved in this championship, the production team, the commentators, the drivers, everyone back at Apex AR TV HQ as well, everyone that kind of set this up, and everyone in the Discord. Just a massive thank you to creating this league. It's been fantastic. Loads of races enjoying it, and Tristan, thank you for being alongside me.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a phenomenal 2 heats to watch here, and a brand new track that definitely showed some action. You can see that everybody's ready to go off. Even the Mexico Grand Prix staff workers are ready to go off. It's pure black darkness out on track here, but it's been a great night of racing.
It has done. And if you want to keep an eye on everything, you can follow us on all socials at Apex Racing TV. We even have a website. We can have a look at all of the active leagues that are going on at this moment in time. You can also see the live timing if you want to keep a track of what is going during the races here. But from myself, from Tristan, and from Jim Cunningham in production, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in Portimao for round 3 of the championship in 7 days' time. Until then, good night.